Hi, and welcome to D8 Squared. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the Bluetti, or Bluetti, however you want to say it, AC50b battery pack. Now this is a 700 watt continuous output battery pack, AC, and with a 448 watt hour capacity. So I had earlier done a review on the EB3A from Bluetti, and I like this one better for a few reasons. One of them is it does have quite a bit more capacity. The second thing is it doesn't have your charging port sticking right out the front to charge the battery pack. This one's over on the side, and I'll be showing you that later. And then also, it doesn't have a wireless charger on top, which I was having a hard time really getting to work very good with my iPhone anyway. And it just seems a little bit simpler, a little bit less, less complex, and it's just a newer version of their battery packs. I think this one just came out. So in any case, let me go over a few of the features that this one has. So this is your input. So this is either a DC input or a solar panel input, and that will be up to 200 watt input. You have a DC output, which is like a cigarette lighter plug. Then you have your AC outputs over here, 2 outlets. And then you have more DC down here. You have 2 USB-C 65 watts, and then 1 USB-A 15 watt. So similar to the other one, the way it works is, got to press and hold the power button to get it to turn on. It has a display similar to the other one, showing you what your input wattage is and your output wattage. In order to use your DC outputs, this one or this one, you have to turn on the DC output, which then that lights up and you can see it there. And if you want to use the AC output, you click on that, and now the AC output is active. So now anytime you have something plugged in, it'll show you what your draw is on the battery pack. And it'll show you how much battery life you have left and how much time at that current output to deplete the battery. The other thing is, when the battery is being charged, it shows you what your input wattage is, and it'll show you how much longer until it's fully charged. So it does have a carrying handle up here on top, which is unlike the other one. This is just a fixed handle. It's not a pivoting handle, which is fine. And then this is where you plug in the charger, which is great. I like it because it's off on the side and you can tuck it away instead of it coming right out the front. And this is the cord that it uses. Just uses your standard cord. So if you happen to forget this or lose it, you can run out to Walmart or somewhere and just pick one up, or just find one somewhere. These are a dime a dozen. So it doesn't require a charging brick or anything like that. Now, some of the specifications for the AC50b include, like I had mentioned earlier, 448 watt hours of battery. It has 700 watt continuous power, and then there's a mode that you can go into the app and you can do 1,000 watt continuous, and does some tricks kind of. It reduces the voltage down so you don't exceed that 700 watts total. So it kind of tricks the battery a little bit. Now that can only be used for certain things that are like resistive power. If it's anything sensitive with any circuitry, you're not going to want to do that. Now, as far as charging goes, you can do 0 to 80% in 45 minutes using the turbocharging, so it can charge really fast. It also has a battery that will last for about 3,000 cycles. So if you use this every day and deplete it every day and recharge it every day, it would still get a life of close to 10 years. So again, it is solar ready. So it does come with the solar cords, and it also comes with a cigarette lighter plug adapter to charge it in your car. So now I want to show you a little bit about how this thing operates when you have something plugged in. So the display goes to sleep after a little while. I think it's 30 seconds or a minute. And in order to wake up the display, you just have to click one of the buttons and the display will wake up. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to plug in a box fan to the AC output. And I'm going to show you how this operates when you have something connected. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the fan on. Sorry if it's a little bit loud, but you can see it's drawing 76 watts on that. And that was on high. So on medium, you can see it's drawing 67. And on low, it's drawing 58. So if we were to keep this on low, this would run for approximately 6 hours before the battery would be drained. So that's what it's showing us right here. So now, why don't we go ahead, I'm going to show you what it looks like when we have something connected to the DC output. So now I'm going to plug something in to one of the USB-C ports, and this is my computer. So you can see the output is about 30 watts DC, and this is about how much battery life there is at that draw. So it just went down. I don't know why it changed. I'm thinking my battery's pretty much topped off on my computer, and it's no longer drawing that. But in any case, this is showing you what the power draw is. And the only thing it doesn't show you, it's just showing you the output total. If you have a combination of AC and DC, you're not going to know which one's drawing what, which is fine. I mean, all you ultimately care is what your output is and what your battery life is. But I suppose you could turn off one and see what the other one is drawing if that really mattered to you. Like right now I have the AC on. We don't really need to have the AC on. So that's pretty much how this works. Another thing that's nice is this operates as like a UPS for a battery, or for like a battery backup. So you can have something plugged into here while this is plugged into the wall, and it's just passing through the electricity. It's not going into the battery and then inverting it back to, it's not converting it from AC to DC and then DC back to AC and out. It's just passing through. But if you had a power loss, it would then flip over and take over on that inverter. So it operates as a UPS, which is a really neat feature to have also. So this is now charging. I want to show you what it looks like when it's charging. You can see this is flashing. It's because it's on its way to 100% here. It's going to be done in 0.1 hours, according to that, at the current input. And this is just plugged into a wall outlet. You can also see it's on the grid. That means that it's being charged by the AC adapter, not the DC. There, I turn the AC out. I mean, you can have the DC and AC outputs turned on while you're charging. That's totally fine. I don't currently have anything plugged in, so it really doesn't matter. I'll turn those off. As I had mentioned before, it comes with a couple cords to charge it through the DC port also. This is the one that would plug in to this right here, and then into your cigarette lighter plug in your car. And then this is the one that also plugs into that same input that would plug into a solar panel. So next, what I want to do is I want to show you a little bit about how the app works. This battery pack connects to your phone through a Bluetooth connection to the app. So you can change some settings. You can put it in turbocharge mode and powerlifting mode and different things like that. You can control the inputs and the outputs. It's nice because it does only connect through Bluetooth. You don't have to have a Wi-Fi signal or anything like that. It's not on the internet. It's just purely a Bluetooth connection between the battery pack and your device. So let's take a look at that here next. So here is the app for controlling your Bluetti battery pack. And again, this is the AC50B. So you can go ahead and tap on that. And now this is showing the interface to the battery pack. You can see it's 98% charged, and it's charging off the grid. You can see in the upper right hand corner. In the upper left hand corner, if it was charging through a solar panel or cigarette lighter plug in your car or some other DC source, it would show the input on the upper left. The bottom left is where you would see if there's a DC output and what that load is. And then on the bottom right is the AC output. You can see what load that is. So these little toggles here is what turns on your outputs. So I tapped on the DC toggle, and it asked me if I want to turn the DC output on. So if I do that, now the DC output is on. And then you can do the same thing for the AC output. So you can control the outputs on those. So there's that. And then you can go into the settings screen, the little gear up in the upper right. This is where you can see the user's manual to get more information. You can see some other information. Here's the charging mode. So it's on standard, and I would recommend leaving it on standard. If you put it on turbo mode, that is going to be a little harder on the battery because you're charging that battery super fast, and that always is a little harder on batteries. Now, if you need, occasionally to do that, I think that's totally fine. But I wouldn't do that on a regular basis. And then what silent mode does is it charges at a little bit slower rate and turns off the fan so it's not as loud, which the fan's not really that very loud anyway, so that doesn't bother me. So I'm going to leave it in standard mode 95% of the time. Now here's the powerlifting mode. So this is what I was talking about, where you could get it to output up to 1,000 watts, but what it does is it reduces the voltage down. Again, you don't want to use that for sensitive electronic equipment. You want to use that purely for like a resistive load, such as a water kettle or a resistive heater or something like that. And then there's eco mode. In eco mode, it basically just can shut the thing down a little bit sooner and save on your battery, so it's not going to be running constantly. So if you're in a pinch and you really need to preserve battery, you can go ahead and mess around with these different eco modes. This is also where you can go in and upgrade the firmware. I would suggest going into here when you first get it, make sure the firmware is up to date. Mine is up to date right now. They may make firmware updates occasionally to help with battery life and different things that will help the performance of the battery. So I would suggest checking that occasionally. And then in the advanced settings, this is where you can change your output frequency if you're in a country that or have a device that runs on 50 hertz or something. So yeah, this is the settings and the different features of this AC50B in the app. One last thing I guess to talk about is this red power button you see right in the middle of the screen. You can power this thing down from your phone, like completely power it down so it's not in standby mode. But you will not be able to power it back up with the app. You have to manually power it up at the battery pack, because at that point it's sleeping and it does not have any sort of ability to connect back to your phone so that you can turn it back on. So you would have to turn it back on at the battery pack itself. I hope this video helped you understand a little bit more about this battery pack, and please leave a comment, give it a like, please subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you.